So, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolutions Leader Class Nova Prime. And Nova Prime's a bit of a strange guy. He is an Amazon exclusive. I think he's still available because he's not a retailer, like a true retailer store like Walmart or Target or whatever exclusive. He's online, so I believe with Hasbro's philosophy, what they've been doing, at least for their new toys, if they're online exclusive, they absolutely produce the hell out of them. This guy came out like last summer, and he was quite the figure for me. I really wanted him. I just think he looks amazing. He is a remold of Siege Magnus, but then is also a remold of the remold of Siege Magnus, which was Cybertron Optimus Prime or Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. But they remolded some more parts, like the chest, and then the head, and then the wings, and it's like they just remolded the remold. Pretty sure the shoulders are also a different piece. So he's a full-on double remold of a figure. Somehow, and I say double remold because it is. It's the parts from the other figure repurposed somewhat, and then new ones. So he's a remold of a remold, hence the title. And as far as it goes, man, I love this thing. It's my favorite iteration of this. I own the basic Kingdom one. I am one of the people that likes that figure. Am I happy with that figure as my Magnus? I kind of want the Studio Series one, but at the same time, I think he'd be too big for my shelf. So I might just stick with Kingdom. I like the Studio Series one. I like the gimmicks that one has, but this might... I like this mold, and I like the fact that it has the little individual Prime, which we'll get to. Now, as far as it goes with this guy, man, he looks cool. He takes Cybertron Optimus and changes it up a little bit. He has my favorite parts of Cybertron Optimus still, though, that being the gauntlets, which I love. Severed pieces, of course, because of the armor, but it is the Cybertron Optimus arms, and he has, like, the little, like, bumper parts there, which have gun barrels in them, which looks awesome. The legs are not really remolded. I don't think they remolded them at all on the Cybertron upgrade one. They did give him these guns, but Siege Magnus also had them. So it's kind of one of those things they just kind of kept around, and I'm pretty well here for it. It's not that bad of a thing. He does, of course, have Galaxy Upgrades cannons, however, which that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing, in my opinion, because I love those cannons. They're awesome. But my favorite part about Nova Prime, design-wise, is the wings. I love these wings. They look so good. I love them. They look amazing. That gunmetal on the white with the steel blue with the gold accents. It's perfect. I love this color scheme. It is an amazing color scheme. I have no issues with this color scheme. I think this thing is gorgeous. I love this figure. Look-wise, the head sculpt is immaculate. I love it. It's like an upgraded Optimus Prime with extra horns. It looks so cool. The back is not super kibbly. Again, you could put the guns back here, but there's also this kind of square bit, so if you do fold that down, you get that square bit back there. The guns do function, so you can take them and flip them forward. They're a little weird to flip forward, though. They kind of hit some stuff. Then there's these handles here, which you can push forward, which allows for actual articulation, because if you move the guns, they move. So that's pretty good that they actually thought of the articulation with these cannons. The original one doesn't even hold them, the original Cybertron Optimus. He just kind of has them under his arms. And yeah, these look real nice. They are Blast Effect compatible, which is very good as well. So you can do pretty much anything you'd want. I love the look of these. The sculpting on them is accurate as all could be. It's exactly the same sculpting, especially on this one. This one is different. I will say it is a little different. It's actually very similar to this one, but this one here is deadly accurate. The other one had missiles that popped out, so that's why I'm saying it's not as accurate. And again, you just basically take these and fold them up. This is going to be a long review. I'm already strapped into that. It's going to be a long, long review. And as far as it goes, that's the detailing of it. And I mean, it's amazing. It is an amazing robot form. But he has a ton of other accessories to use as well, as mentioned prior. he has these side-mounted guns, which I love. They're like little imagine them as like giant revolvers of sorts that he would wield. They're really cool. I like those. They're nice. He can hold them. They can peg in various spots as well. They're a little tight to get in the hand, though. That's why I'm kind of like unscrewing them. But I mostly do leave them on the legs. And he does have one other gun, similar to Cybertron Optimus Prime. The right cannon, the front of it, on pegs. And it becomes a little blaster, which is very much similar to the Cybertron Optimus gun, which is quite nice. Again, that's just the front of that, and it just has a typical peg on the back. It's nothing unique. It's just a gun. But as far as it goes, this guy does have some articulation. He does have a ball joint in the head. Forward back is a little hindered because of the wings. Outward swivel. Elbow goes a little bit beyond 90. He does have a wrist swivel. He does have a waist swivel that is much more accessible than on the typical Magnus, because this is not as large. It comes off. It's technically parts forming for the gauntlets. Forward and back. He does have outward, knee joint, and a swivel. And of course he has ankle tilts, which are also permanently tilted. So they get even more tilted, I guess. I don't know what other way to put that. But that is basically Nova Prime's main robot form. As mentioned, he has a second one, which is actually quite easy to get to comparatively to the Magnus. It's the exact same thing, but a lot of it comes off at the same time. Remove his shoulder pads, come to the chest, flip it up. This comes off really easy in comparison to the Magnus. I'm just going to put that off to the side. And then the legs also come off pretty easily. I do love the legs. They don't really like peg on. They just kind of slide on. They're just very friction held on. And again, I'm just putting everything off to the side here. While we do so, you can flip out the heels like so, and then you pop that forward, unpeg the arms, and then come up here. And you gotta yank that open. Sometimes it likes to open, sometimes it doesn't. I will say it's a lot harder to open that up on this figure than on the Magnus. And then you can do as well, once you pull that up a little bit, you can put that up as a backpack. Take his little gauntlet parts, and then they peg on like so, and then you can flip them in, and they will form the front bumper type of sections, because this is not accurate to Cybertron Optimus at all. They kind of tried with the original, but this is just the typical Optimus head. And the cab is a bit different. It looks like the Cybertron one. That's it. Otherwise, it's the same base Magnus. I did forget one little thing, which, minor. I hate they didn't paint it. It looks so bad. It's just like they randomly broke it up. There's no gold in it. It's just, if there was any paint in it, it would look fine. But it's just like they just threw a splash of gray into a sea of white. And it's like, why did they put that there? They could have put a little gold on it and it would have looked fine. It's just a sudden color change, and it goes right back to white. If this was gray, that would be fine. But it breaks it up and then goes back. It makes no sense. So it's actually really no fault to anybody why, when everybody reviews this, I never see this get flipped. There's no point. It's not really a point to flip it around. As far as this guy goes, same articulation, just a little bit less restrictive going back. And the waist is a little less restrictive as well, as there's nothing on the bottom. And the head has the same thing. The head does look a little small, but it is a very good Optimus Prime head. I don't think I'm the only one. I feel like there is people that say that this is the best Optimus Prime head they've done. And I can kind of agree with it. It looks really nice. It's very rounded and pointed. It's what a lot of people would like of an Optimus Prime. I love that head sculpt. I think it looks great. One thing I do wish, just before we get to the conversion, I wish they kind of painted these arrows gold. I think that would have looked nice. One thing I'll say, the arms do look a little blank. There's an incoming dirt bike. I hear it. I hate dirt bikes with a burning passion. I really do. They just keep going up and down my road. Every time I want to record a video. Every time. I don't know. as far as it goes, that is that. And to transform this guy, we're going to do this first and then show you how to put together the trailer. So you're going to take this and you're going to move it downward like so. You're then going to take these, flip them back, or not flip them back fully, flip them back partially, and then come up here again, open this up, flip in the tiny robot head, rotate around these side parts here, like so, which sometimes goes well, sometimes doesn't. You can then take these parts and do that, and voila, the cab. It looks good. Other than these, there's so much space up here, they easily could have made them fold in. They could have done it. They just didn't. I feel like they were lazy with that. Like the hands, there's clearly enough room to make those fold in. It's so doable. It's stupid how doable it would have been to like actually do it, because this is all hollow. It's such a stupid thing that they never did. But that is the cab. Now for the trailer conversion. We're going to first start with the semi-hard part, which is the legs and shoulder pads. So with the legs, they're obviously reflections of each other. So what I'd recommend is put one in like this, so this peg will be the reference point. So make sure the peg is on the bottom like that on one side. And for the other side, make sure the peg is up the way. It will slide in somehow. You will find a way to get that in there. And then if that is like that, it will connect together with no problems because they're asymmetrical due to that peg method. So that's what you do for the back end, which I forgot to do this. There is actually heel spurs on this guy. I don't ever use them. They're just there. No one, I don't think, ever uses them. He doesn't really need them. But we then have this section, which is the bulk of the conversion. So fold the chest piece down like that, and then rotate the head. Once you do that, fold out this section. Take these sections here and fold them out again, and then fold this out again. And then that'll lock right there. Flip the wings forward, and then take the guns and flip them upward. So they'll rotate around. Take those little parts that I had pulled out earlier and fold them back like so. You can then take the back section here, and there is connection points all over it. So there is tabs that go into various parts. One of the main tab areas is actually these parts. They go into some slots down at the bottom by the feet. That is what they lock into. So you just kind of have to get those in there correctly. You can futz with it a little bit. Usually is a bit of play to get those connected. Basically just connect the little blue parts first and then flip it up. That's all you got to do, really. And that equals the majority of the trailer. But to connect the trailer, it's pretty much as simple. There is a slot right here, and then there's that kind of cross section there, and then this will go on to the kind of rail section on the back that the top of the armor usually connects to. So you just want to kind of get this in here in a way where you can connect everything together properly like that. And once you do that and everything's connected up, these little side clips here will clip into this little kind of square section. It's out of focus, but it is there. And you will end up with this big old truck form that looks Cybertron Optimus Prime. So as far as the figure goes, the only thing that really is Cybertron Optimus Prime is the truck mode. So at least there's that, I guess. I mean, even with the original one didn't look much like Cybertron. It was like an updated version. I feel like if we do get a commander class in the future, it could be him. And I think that would be that'd be an instant buy for me, personally. Because I consider that one of my first 3 Transformers ever, so it would be an instant buy. But the alt mode looks pretty solid. It does keep the wheels and everything from the original Siege Magnus, so they're really alien looking. The front Very good. Exact same as you'd expect. The trailer isn't the exact same, but it wasn't going to be. It keeps the key details, like the guns, and then, of course, the wings folded up to the sides, and, of course, the guns. So it does keep all of the main details of the trailer, so there's not really any issues there. The head's right there. It's a bit hollow in there, unfortunately, but what are you going to do? And the other thing, there is no flying form. I wish they had have somehow got that in there. Probably budget constraints, but that's okay. We don't need the flying form fully. But as far as it goes, that is the alt form. So let's just get to my final thoughts on Nova Prime. So as far as it goes for my final thoughts on Nova Prime, yeah, this thing's really solid. If you don't own the Magnus mold or were thinking about getting it, I would say get this one, because obviously Magnus is a little weird now that there's the Commander one. I know the Commander one's very rare because Hasbro's stupid and apparently didn't think people would buy that. People bought the hell out of that, and now everyone wants it. And it's out of stock, because it was rare to begin with. I had no idea. I could have had it like 50 times. I had no idea. I mean, these want to be horrific right now. They weren't being nice. But as far as it goes, I think that this is probably the best iteration to get. The Kingdom one, if you can get it for cheap, sure. Or even the Siege one. There's like a bunch of ways to get this mold. It's not that rare. But this is a unique figure comparatively to those. It's not another Ultra Magnus. It's a Nova Prime, which I think there might be like one other Nova Prime ever. Nova Prime is not a guy who gets toys. He's a weird character, which is why he was released in that weird Amazon area where it was like him and Nacelle, I think it was. And Nacelle's weird too. Nacelle, I know for being a random, like, con exclusive figure. But I remember, like, a video of Thew Adams, he bought it. And I was like, interesting that they do that. FunPub was weird. They love doing these weird figures everybody forgot about. Which, I kind of missed that. Can we get more of that? That'd be neat. If we could get a bit more of that, like... oh, just random guy you've never heard of. But Nova Prime here is a character that I feel like a lot of people would want, because he's just really cool looking. It's not even the fact that he is a Prime and that the next line is apparently something to do with the Primes, so he's probably not going to get a toy because this guy exists, and if he does, it's probably just going to be a re-release. And I can 100% see that, because like I said, online exclusives, Hasbro tends to make like a quadrillion of them. Not a billion, not a trillion, a quadrillion. I don't know. They make an absolute ton of them. Meaning, yeah, he goes on sale pretty regularly on Amazon now. He's a year old. And I feel like their stock didn't exactly go too far. So, he's definitely gettable. He's not hard to get by any means. Like I said, if you're looking for this mold, get this one. It's just a great one. He also has a weirdly unique box for some reason. Like, it opens like a shoebox, kind of. Like, it has like a flap and then it like opens like a... I have the box. It has stuff in it. It has Legos in it for some reason. But this is just the best one. Get this. It's great. Is it a 5 out of 5? Absolutely not. Because the mold is not a 5 out of 5. The mold has some issues. Again, the armor isn't hard anymore. I know how to put it. One thing that does suck is the clips that go around these little square things. They really do suck to attach. I had to file those down on both versions of this figure because I'm afraid they're going to snap. Magnus, it's a lot more like, oh no. With him, it's not, because he actually has other points it connects really securely. Magnus, not so much. But this thing here, wholehearted recommendation. Buy it, especially if it's on sale. 100%. I'm going to give it a 4.5. Mostly just because of those clips. I love it. The look of it is fantastic. The alt mode's great. The transformations were... I'll knock it down to a 4 because the transformation sucks. The basic cab sucks, but this one covers the hands unlike the Kingdom one. So it's not as bad. And that is really all I have to say about Legacy Evolution Nova Prime. This has been our review. It's been Elf Out Delete signing out.